Can you tell the viewers something about Brownlow House, its history and its heritage?
Yes, I can. Obviously it's called Brownlow House because it's named after the Brownlow family. The Brownlow family first came to Lurgan in 1608 and was under the plantation of Ulster. James I giving land to the Brownlows in what was then called the Barony of O'Neill land. And the Brownlows arrived in 1610 and they claimed 5,000 acres of land and they began to build. And from then the town of Lurgan actually would have risen from the Brownlows and those that they brought with them. The big house that we're in today, Brownlow House, wasn't built until 1833. It took 7 years to build, and it was Charles Brownlow was the man behind that, and he commissioned the Edinburgh architect William Playfair to come from Edinburgh and build this magnificent house. So as I say, it took 7 years to build. 1 year before they moved in, Charles Brownlow was raised to the peerage and he became the first Lord Lurgan. So when he moved in here in 1840, he moved in as Lord Lurgan. Now, he was related to the Duke of Abercorn, he was related to the halls of Narrowwater Castle, he was related to the Hamilton family. They all had big mansions. So when he was having this house built, he asked Playfair to make it different to the other houses that his relatives would have had. So Playfair used a French concept called a calendar building, and he designed the house from a calendar. So Brownlow House is the only calendar building in Northern Ireland. And people don't, often the tours that I would do, people say, what's a calendar building? So it's simple, he designed it from a calendar. In a calendar you have 7 days in every week, so there's 7 doors into Brownlow House. You can enter Brownlow House by 7 different doors. There's 4 wings to Brownlow House, and they represent the 4 seasons. Brownlow House itself was built on 12 pillars, and that represents the 12 months of the year. And then if you come to Brownlow House and you look up under a roof and you start counting our chimney stacks, you discover we have 52 chimney stacks, 1 for each week of the year. And then the big one, 365 days in a year. When Brownlow House was opened in 1840, it was opened with 365 rooms, 1 for each day of the year. Hence, it's a calendar building.
Who has been the most famous guest to visit Brownlow, either in recent or in past times?
We would have probably 2 outstanding guests who would have visited Brownlow House. The first one was in May of 1944, and that was General Dwight D. Eisenhower, who after the Second World War went on to be the 36th President of the United States. And he stayed here for 2 nights in May 1944, and it was to do with D-Day and an inspection of the American troops, because 11 days after leaving Brownlow House, the Allied invasion of France actually happened. So when Eisenhower was here, the purpose was we're having a meeting about D-Day. Most recently, our most famous visitor would have been last year in May of 2019. We had the Prince of Wales who visited us. We had a royal visit here, and he spent a couple of hours with me, and we walked around this magnificent house, and he was very, very impressed. He's a man who loves his architecture, and he certainly was very, very impressed. So I would say they were the most 2 outstanding visitors that we've had over the years.
So what is the most challenging thing about maintaining and managing a large historic property?
Oh, there's so many things really, but obviously the most challenging aspect in a building of this size is finance. I mean, we have, as I say, a building here, 365 rooms, 4 wings, and a grade A listed building. So the challenge is every year is raising the finance just to keep the doors open, and the associated running costs of the house literally are going up every single year, and every year is getting more and more and more challenging literally to keep the doors open. A lot of buildings of this size and this nature have long been handed over to the National Trust. Yet Brownlow House still to this day is privately owned, privately run, and therefore then all finance that we need for the building has to be raised by ourselves. So that would be our biggest challenge is, and it's the same for a lot of other places as well, but we acknowledge that, but for Brownlow House certainly finance is our biggest challenge.
So 365 rooms, can you pick out your favourite?
I actually can. My favourite would be what we call the octagon room. And it's called the octagon room obviously because of the shape of it. As you come into the octagon room, you'll notice the walls are painted, but they're not just a coat of paint on them. Italian artists came over and painted the walls, and the whole idea was to make them look like marble. And you go into that octagon room with its 8 sides, and with prominence is your Italian marble fireplace, your gold-edged mirror, the beautifully designed ceiling, the chandelier, and then the walls to complement that. And the Italian artist painted them so that they give a marble effect. So for me, definitely without a doubt, the octagon room is my personal favourite.
Yeah. And so, out of any interest, given the age of the property, have you had any spooking sightings over the years?
Well, there's many people who have told stories of nights down here and of coming across or something, or hearing a bump in the middle of the night. And I certainly don't want to dismiss what others have seen, but one who's been here for nearly 30 years and been here in the dead of night, I haven't come across anything yet, but doesn't mean to say that there isn't. And
so one of the big attractions is the tea room as you come into Brownlow House. And have you got any recommendations for people coming if they're coming for a nice treat?
Well, yes, we're open for all types of meals and all, but certainly very, very popular would be a lot of people would go for a nice walk around Lurgan Park, because we're right on the edge of Lurgan Park, and after they're finished their little walk, they come in and they enjoy our tea and our scones. We have a lot of people who come in and very much enjoy our lunches at lunchtime. But for me, and one thing that's grown in popularity now more than ever is the Brownlow House afternoon tea. So I'd like to recommend that to folks, and a lot of people now are enjoying the experience of afternoon tea in Brownlow House.
And just for an update for the viewers, can you give us the opening times and any of our offers or anything to keep an eye out for?
Well, we open the tea rooms Tuesday to Saturday, 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. But outside of them hours or during them hours, we are open for any bookings. So we really would be open. I know the tea rooms only open 10 to 3, but we'd be open most evenings for functions. So Brownlow House and the rooms, are available for booking for any facility. If you're having a dinner, a birthday party, a wedding, a conference, we're available every day of the week. So simply because the tea rooms are closed doesn't mean to say that Brownlow House itself is closed. So we're open for bookings for all things. But the tea rooms Tuesday to Saturday, 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And also on site we have as well is 2 museums. We have a World War I and Local History Museum, and we also have our very popular American Troops World War II exhibition, which is in the basement of Brownlow House to commemorate that the American troops stayed here during World War II, and Brownlow House being the headquarters for the American troops, it tells the story of the American troops in Northern Ireland and also in Brownlow House.